wins over ranked teams. First time they've done that since 1945. And to do it with a backup quarterback in Tuttle. What'd you think, Joshua?
Yeah, when Michael Penix went out, we were all kind of curious, what's the backup quarterback situation going to look like? Because bad quarterback play can absolutely lose you a game. And when you're going up against a team like Wisconsin, you need to make sure that you're covering all of your bases. And Jack Tuttle did a really, really good job just looking like a player who's experienced and had been there before. Now you're going to see this right here, just standing back between two defenders down the field. Absolutely fantastic. And then same drive, off of his back foot, finds Whop Philyor in the end zone for a touchdown. One of his 2 touchdowns on the day. And then we're going to see here in the fourth quarter, boom, throwing it right to the sideline on a rope. The plays that he made weren't necessarily these fantastic plays, you know, oh, he's got the best arm, this. He did everything he needed to do. He led the team efficiently. He took care of the football, looked really comfortable in there.
Another great outing by the defense. I mean, they held Wisconsin to 140 yards rushing, and that's holding down a really potent rushing attack. But more impressive, 202 yards passing, but the longest passes was 1 for 20 yards and 1 for 18 yards. Nowadays, those are barely explosive plays. And every time there was a critical situation, it didn't look like Wisconsin could shake coverage. It looks like the secondary of Indiana played perhaps its best game, Howard.
Yeah, let's give this offense some credit, too, for Indiana, particularly the offensive linemen. Being able to pick up some of the blitz and stunts that the Badgers were using against them, did a really nice job of doing that. 2 takeaways, turned that into 7 points. This really is an outstanding football team that continues to find ways to win, not because they're lucky, but because they're a good football team.
Yeah, just 217 yards. And look, Wisconsin's going to do that to a lot of people. We saw a drop pass that would have added quite a bit to that total. But again, this is who Wisconsin is, the kind of game they're going to play. You need to make sure you don't make mistakes to beat them. That's what Indiana did. And the Hoosiers end, guys, a 28-game road losing streak against ranked conference opponents going back to 2001, the longest in the nation. It is
yards rushing, 38 attempts. That's what this Iowa offense wants to do. They want to be physical up front and really try to control the line of scrimmage, and they were able to get that done against Illinois today.
Yeah, this Iowa offense is also putting up a lot of points. I mean, think about it. They're down 14-0, and then they score basically 35-7 the rest of the game. And it's not something we would typically expect from Iowa offenses, all of that run game, like you talk about. But Spencer Petras was able to throw the ball really well, over 200 yards. And I think that added an element of explosion. Amir Smith-Marset was highly involved in the game plan, and we know that he's dangerous with the ball. So I was impressed all over. Obviously, the defense basically in the second half of the game was fantastic, didn't let up much of anything, but that offense was extremely explosive.
5 straight wins now by a combined 110 points. Remember, they lost those first 2 games by 5 combined points. And again, now 5 wins in a row for Iowa, playing extremely well here late in the season. They've got Wisconsin next week, Nebraska and Purdue. And this one had a tough situation before the game even started, with an injury on the field to Nebraska defensive back Miles Farmer in warm-ups. Had to be carted off, and we certainly wish him the best. How about Adrian Martinez? What a tough run that is. Nebraska was up 14-0 in the first quarter. They scored 17 points in the first quarter. They had 24 first-quarter points in the first 5 games combined. So good fast start, but Jack Plummer here to King Doru. Gets Purdue back within 10 at 20-10, and then Nebraska answering. Adrian Martinez, Wyatt Lure, first career catch, goes for a touchdown.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Good way to start.
Is he going to keep the ball, though?
I would. I mean, I think a lot of guys should keep the ball.
Nebraska 27-13 at the half. That's been the theme through the day. Keep the ball. Payne Durham diving for the pylon. Purdue back within 14 at 34-20. Third TD of the year for Durham. And David Bell. David Bell is one heck of a wide receiver, guys.
He's a good football player.
Really good.
This is another case. Why not take the ball?
He didn't want to hear the siren. That's why he finished like that.
10th 100-yard performance of his career in 18 games. That is awfully good. Had another tough injury. Antonio Stevens going down, Purdue defensive back. Really just a shame to see the injury issues that we saw today. He would get carted off. Martinez here to Austin Allen.
You want to leave the ball there.
Nebraska would settle for a field goal, 37-27, and On a 4th and 6, oh boy, it's not quite going.
Another example where you would leave.
True enough. Nebraska, 37-27. Rick Pizzo with the winners.
Scott, from our perspective, Adrian Martinez was nearly flawless. How do you describe your quarterback's performance?
You know, he's been down a little bit. We took him out of a game, but he handled that the right way. He's a really high-character kid, and it's great to see him redeem himself.
Obviously, I'm sure you're proud of your team's mental toughness. The second half has not been good to you this year, but when Purdue started to mount a comeback, your guys never really blinked. What does that say about your team?
Yeah, it says a lot, just what we've been through, for them to still come out and play the way that they're playing, especially with all the young guys we got playing. It says a lot about where we are. Still made some mistakes that made it closer than it probably should have been, but I was glad to see him finishing.
Adrian Martinez, your performance was terrific, but I was also watching your leadership. How much pride do you take in that aspect for you on this team, no matter whether you're starting, backing up, or splitting time?
That's something I take a tremendous amount of pride in. That's what matters to me. When my role changed, when I wasn't the starter, I made sure to remain a captain, remain a great teammate, and nothing's going to change. I know I'm responsible for making sure my team's ready to go, focused and motivated. So I was trying to do all those things today, and it paid off. But I think this win is huge and something that we can continue to build on. And now that we've done it, shown we can do it, I think our guys will have a lot of confidence in it.
He is a real class act, and Martinez did handle being replaced as a starting quarterback extremely well. Last 2 games now, he has bounced back in a big way, Joshua. He is 41 of 50 through the air last 2 weeks and was particularly effective through the air and on the ground on Saturday.
Absolutely. And, you know, he was challenged in a lot of ways. Splitting time is a very difficult thing to do, but especially at the quarterback position, because you're supposed to be the alpha on the offense. You're supposed to be the leader. And quite frankly, he wasn't producing the way that he needed to. But when he was called upon to become the starter again and he was given the keys to the offense, these last few weeks, he's done a really good job. I mean, you're going to see here avoids pressure, keeps his eyes down the field, and then makes a great decision by pulling the ball down. And you're just going to see the toughness right there to finish off the play in the end zone. Again, you're going to see him standing in the pocket, going through his reads, a little bit of pressure, no problem, roll out and hit Wan'Dale Robinson, a guy who we've been looking to see in this offense. And then finally, you're going to get Martinez again. Need to pick up a first down. He's able to do that. So multiple ways, he was able to run through that offense very efficiently. But the leadership is what really matters. You heard him talking. He wanted to be the captain of the team, regardless of what his role was. He's absolutely done that, and he's played some really good football lately.
Sometimes you hear players and coaches talk about when they've been removed from a game, they've had an opportunity to observe from the sidelines that the game has slowed down and they start to see some things that maybe they didn't see as a starter. We watched that happen today because this is the player that we got so excited about his freshman year. He looked so athletic today, so under control and so much confidence that this is the player that they need to have each and every week.
You know, going into this game, and we talked about this morning, both teams have been struggling. But they've struggled in a different way. You looked at Purdue, and they were struggling, but they didn't really look like they were getting better. Nebraska was struggling, and they did look like they were getting better. And I think today proved that.